Hello, Canadian Tire executives. I'm very excited today to pitch you an amazing opportunity that my team and I have been working very hard on. I'm sure you've read the screen by now, so I'm just going to dive right into our plan to expand Canadian Tire into Russia. Before I get into detail, I'm going to quickly summarize what I'm going to talk about later on. Firstly, our strengths, which are a good reputation, great service, quality products, a lot of convenient locations, low prices, and most importantly, a good annual revenue. Our weaknesses are that we have a bad history of expanding internationally and have no brand recognition in Russia. However, successfully expanding into Russia presents amazing opportunities, first and foremost being earning far more revenue, potentially even 4 times the company's current yearly revenue, which I'll get into later on. Luckily for us, there are almost no home and auto stores in Russia, so our business in Russia faces very few threats. The only thing we'd have to worry about are retail chains, but the only ones bigger than ours are primarily grocery stores. With that being said, it's time to get into detail. So why Russia? There's about 200 other countries out there, so what makes Russia special? Before I answer that, I'd like to direct your attention towards this graph. You're probably wondering what a few of these terms mean, and for that matter why they should mean anything to you. To start off, these quantities are related to Russian culture, and therefore the collective mental programming of the individuals within it. Knowing that, I'm going to explain why some of these quantities would make Russians better consumers of our products. A country that scores highly in power distance is a country where wealth is unevenly distributed. Russia scored very highly in this category because about 80% of all of its financial potential is in Moscow, leaving everyone else in Russia with the other 20%. This is good for us because we offer affordable products, meaning we can appeal to the majority of the population. A country that scores highly in the long-term orientation section is one that likes to save and think in the future. Russia scored highly in this category and low in the indulgence category because people like to save their money. Again, our company offers affordable products, so Russia would be in a good place to set up shop. Of course, none of this would matter if Russia had a bad economy. Fortunately for us, Russia has the 11th biggest economy in the world. It is safe to say that Russia's success will be secure for the next few decades as well, as all of Russia's natural resources have been estimated to be worth over 75 trillion US dollars. This means that our business would not have to worry about an economic crash anytime in the near future. Now that I've covered all this, I think you know why Russia is special. It shows amazing potential to facilitate our business. But I still haven't covered the most important topic yet. Is there room for our business in Russia? Short answer, yes there is. I learned this firsthand when I was in Russia surveying people to see if there was any demand for our business. One answer stood out to me in particular. When I asked if our stores would be more convenient, one single mother told me that it would mean the world to her to have one of our stores near her. This is because she finishes work at 5 and has to pick up her daughter from violin practice at 6:30, and she has to do her errands in this time span. She told me that one time it took her close to 2.5 hours to buy dog food, get an oil change, and buy a winter jacket. When she picked up her daughter, she had been freezing out in the snow. If there were a Canadian Tire location near her, she could have done all these errands in about 30 minutes, and also done groceries. And she could have been there earlier. So I think you all understand why I told you this story. There are a lot of people who could actually seriously benefit from our service, and we can mutually benefit from them. One of our key demographics, 30 to 34-year-olds, or young adults, is the biggest age demographic in Russia. People usually start buying homes and having children in their early 30s, which is good for us because we can make lifelong customers if we get this expansion underway quickly. We should be able to do this because there are virtually no home and auto stores as big as ours in Russia. The biggest retail stores primarily sell groceries, so we could tap a different market where we have next to no competitors. Because I know you're all busy, I'm going to try to keep my next few slides short. So if we did expand into Russia, what about our company would we have to change? Short answer, we would need a new brand name and logo. A company named Canadian Tire likely will not do well in Russia because they can't be proud of a country that they do not live in. A small change that would have to be made is that we'd have to offer a different selection of auto parts, due to Russia having different big car companies in Canada. For example, Renault. It's also important that if we were to have stores in Russia, that we have a very good delivery service. Russians are skeptical about online purchases and like to pay with cash. We need to make sure our delivery service is always running smoothly and delivering complete packages, or else we will lose a lot of customers. This brings me to the conclusion of my presentation. I think I've given you all enough information to want to get this rolling, but I'd like to end off with a reminder. Russia has a population nearly 4 times as large as ours, and therefore there is potential to quadruple our yearly revenue. If we can do this properly, then we can think about expanding even more internationally. Thank you for listening, and I hope you consider my proposal.